and welcome to another episode of Alison McWhinnie podcast, where we have conversations about business and wellbeing success. And today I'm delighted to welcome a long-time lovely friend of mine, Sushila Abraham, who is a solicitor within the Borough of Kingston upon Thames. And we will be talking about how you can qualify as a solicitor if that is a career pathway that is of interest to you. And not only that, once qualified, how you can really do well within the legal profession. And Sushila has some top tips on how to stay on top of those workloads. The legal workload is famous for being very heavy. So how do you stay on top of it and make sure that you do well? To give some background on Sushila qualified as a lawyer in 1982, and she's been practicing in law firms in London and Surrey since 1986, qualifying as a solicitor in 1994. Her specialist areas are family law and civil litigation. She is a member of Resolution Family Law. She values the provision of high-quality legal services to members of the community, and it has always been her personal aim to put clients' interests first rather than profit. Sushila Abraham was president of the Surrey Law Society. She was chairman of the Solicitors Sole Practitioners Group and is currently a council member for Surrey of the Law Society of England and Wales. She describes herself as a very community-minded person who wants to use her legal knowledge and talents to help people. In addition to her work as a local solicitor, Sushila served as a local councillor in Kingston upon Thames, having been elected 3 times by local residents. She was deputy mayor and mayor of the Royal Borough of Kingston upon Thames. Sushila, a very warm welcome to you today.
Thank you.
So, let's start at the beginning on becoming a solicitor and what the career entry and qualification requirements are. So what qualifications do you need to become a solicitor?
All right. To qualify as a solicitor in England and Wales, you will need to hold a law degree or a non-law degree. You need to pass the solicitor's qualifying exam, which is commonly known as the SQE, complete 2 years of qualifying experience, and then after that, meet the character and suitability requirements set by the Solicitors Regulation Authority, which is called the SRA.
And what is the SQE and how does it work exactly?
The SQ is a centralized exam replacing the previous legal practice course, which was called the LPC, and training contracts. It consists of SQE1 that tests the legal knowledge. It could be multiple choice, and that's what it is. And the SQE2 assesses the practical legal skills, advocacy, legal writing, interviewing, etc.
Do you need a law degree to become a solicitor?
No, you can do a non-law degree, then a law conversion, which is called a GDL, and then the SQE. You can take the solicitor apprenticeship route or qualify through the SILEX route, which is the Chartered Institute of Legal Executives.
And can you become a solicitor with a non-law degree, and what's the pathway for that?
Yes, after your non-law degree, you take a conversion course, which is the GDL. Pass the SQE, complete 2 years of the QWE, which is the qualifying work experience. Then you can basically, do that. Once you've done that, then you go to the next stage.
Just sort of padding out a bit more on what the QWE consists of. What exactly is it?
QWE is hands-on legal work and that develops core solicitor competencies. It can be completed at up to 4 organizations, can be paid or voluntary, includes roles in law firms, in-house legal teams, or charities.
Solicitors and barristers, what's the difference between them?
Solicitors handle client legal matters, drafting, advising, and transactions like properties work, conveyancing. Barristers focus on courtroom work, advocacy, and specialist legal experience. So they are sort of consultants. They specialize in certain areas of the law and they appear in courts most of the time. You also then have solicitor advocates, solicitors with the rights of audience in the right higher court. And you do find a lot of them in the criminal justice system. So they appear in those courts, a lot of solicitor advocates you find.
Going back to training contracts and QWE, how do you get a training contract or QWE?
What you need to do is research firms that suit your values and interest.
Mm-hmm.
Tailor your application with a strong cover letter and a CV. Network at legal events. You can use LinkedIn, social media to connect with professionals. And, go locally and try to meet local firms of solicitors.
Sure. What do you feel firms are looking for in applicants?
Firms value, and I know what it's like because I'm in my practice, I would value a strong academic background, practical legal experience, commercial awareness, excellent communication and network, and also working as a team, able to work as a team. It's so important. And understanding, listening and understanding your client's needs.
Sure. There are quite a number of different areas of law and solicitors tend to specialise. What are the main areas of law?
You have criminal law, family law, employment law, there's intellectual property, commercial and corporate law, banking and finance, tax law, human rights laws, real estate, which includes the conveyancing transactions that we do, daily buying and selling of properties, sports and media law.
Goodness, that is a lot.
There's a lot more. You can even go for
choosing?
there are human rights and quite a lot. Climate change, there's loads of it now.
Yeah. How do you go about choosing a legal specialism?
What you need to do is reflect on your interests and strengths. Gain experience by internships and mini pupillages if you want to become a barrister. Consider lifestyle, values, and long-term opportunities.
Do you recommend specialising early?
Not necessarily. The route I took was not that way. I went into general practice because I felt you needed to know and understand the basis of law. It's different now. So many benefit from gaining broad experience before narrowing down, and that's what I took. That's the route I took.
What would you say are the most lucrative areas of law?
I know everyone will say, let's go to the city. People say corporate law, banking and finance, commercial litigation, IP law, tax and energy law, but those are usually specialists in the high street, and not in the high street, it's in the large city firms.
Sure.
So in the high street, we have the usual day-to-day things that you need, bills and probate and people trying to help a family maybe.
Sure. In terms of developing legal skills, what would you say are essential skills for solicitors?
You should actually understand and have good communication skills. So written and verbal communication is important. You need to be able to problem solve and have a critical thinking. You have time management, attention to detail, legal research and drafting, professionalism and client care, very important, client care, adaptability and commercial awareness.
And turning to improving legal research and writing, what are your tips there?
I mean, you can use multiple legal resources. There's the Westlaw, LexisNexis, there are Bailey, they all are different organizations which give you the legal research capabilities. You understand the primary versus the secondary sources, read good examples of legal writing, practice drafting, and you try and get feedback from those who are supervising you or your colleagues.
Do you have any other tips for improving contract drafting?
Yes, you need to review model contracts, look at them, see how they've been drafted, learn and the key legal terminology, ensure clarity, consistency, and compliance with, various things that are out there. Collaborate with senior lawyers and stakeholders.
Have you any useful tools and software tips?
There is case management systems. There are systems like One Advance, Clio, Leap. There are quite a lot of them out there. You just need to know which one you really want to go for. Legal research tools are normally Westlaw, Practical Law, which is part of Thomson Reuters, and LexisNexis. Time tracking and billing software, different organizations provide that. Document automation tools you can get. So there are various organizers. There are loads of them out there, but you really need to understand and ask people before you think about taking anything on.
So you make an informed decision.
Need to, yes.
Turning to client communication and advocacy, how can you go about improving all advocacy and negotiation?
Advocacy is basically like an acting. So you need to practice role playing. They do that a lot during training, to become a barrister. They have that particular thing there. You need to develop persuasive speaking techniques, research cases thoroughly. You need to use your best alternative to a negotiated agreement. Build a rapport, and active listening skills are so important. The whole profession as a solicitor or barrister is listening.
Yeah. Turning to commercial awareness, why is commercial awareness vital?
Understanding your client's business context helps you to give a practical and valuable advice to the client. It builds a trust, anticipates legal and commercial risk, enhances client relationships.
And how would you recommend people build their commercial awareness?
Read the business news, read legal updates daily, follow law firms' insights and blogs. You might have a lot of them. Engage in discussions with clients and industry professionals. The Law Society provides a lot of tips also. So those are areas you can go to.
And how do solicitors support firm profitability?
Generate billable hours is what firms will look for, especially the very large firms. They look at how many hours you'll be able to bill. It's targets. Really, you need to be careful when you're going for those kind of things. What do you want when you want to become a solicitor? Manage time, resources effectively, develop and maintain client relationships.
In terms of client management and business development, what are your tips for building strong client relationships?
You have communication is important, clearly and regularly. Understand the client's needs and business goals, deliver value and manage expectations, be proactive and empathetic.
And how do you go about gaining new clients?
Network strategically and attend events. You got social media, you got referrals, you could build a visible online presence. If you don't want that, but be around, speak to people. Your clients will also recommend you the way they like the way you've worked with them. You need to deliver excellent service and encourage referrals. So that's very, very important. And that's the way I run my firm.
In terms of workplace success and growth, how do you stand out as a junior solicitor?
You must be dependable and proactive. You have to ask questions and learn continuously. Communicate effectively and manage deadlines. Build strong internal and external relationships. And it's very, very important to remember that you're learning every single day. Do not be shy to ask questions.
What are the common mistakes junior solicitors make, do you think?
Poor time management, inadequate proofreading, so they don't read what they've written properly, or they hope that AI will help them, and without checking it, cross-checking it. Not asking for help. You'll see a lot of them, they're afraid they may lose their job, or they may feel their seniors may think they're not educated enough, or over-promising and under-delivering. So don't be shy, don't be afraid. Your peers are there to help you.
Mm-hmm. What are your tips on handling feedback and stress?
You must accept feedback with professionalism. Reflect and act on it constructively, prioritize self-care, and communicate boundaries. So you've got to really, stress is very important. Junior solicitors face a lot of stress.
Mm.
Senior solicitors do face a lot of stress too, but it's a coping mechanism. And
Mm-hmm.
if you're upset or worried about something, ask, seek help. Just don't keep it with you and don't shove it under the carpet, because it'll all come out later on, and then problems will arise.
Yeah. And I think in terms of feedback, it's important to appreciate that some criticism can be very constructive and
Correct.
actually real learning opportunities that
Yeah.
will help you really grow,
Yeah.
especially when they come from somebody with lots of experience in the area that you're working in. And that is an opportunity
To learn.
to learn.
Yes.
Um, in terms of time management and well-being, what are your tips for managing long hours and billable targets?
Always plan and prioritize your tasks. Minimize distraction. Track time accurately. Be realistic about what can be built. Just don't do it for the sake of thinking, I have to do this many hours, I have to charge so much, otherwise I will not meet my targets.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that. If you can't, be open about it, speak about it, and do not just unnecessarily bill clients, because it'll all come back to bite later on if there's a problem.
Yeah. And what are your tips for avoiding burnout?
That's what we're seeing a lot with very junior lawyers. I would say take breaks, set boundaries, use support networks, your mentors. If you're a big firm, you might have an HR department. Focus on quality over quantity. It's so important, and your health and well-being is so important.
Mm. And what are your work-life balance tips?
You can use tech to streamline workflow, communicate your availability, make time for non-legal interests. So you need to do things. Don't always just sit at your desk saying, I have to do that, I have to do that, I have to make so many hours. Get up, get a break, go out, relax, and always think of your health. So important. And that has to be your priority. Exercise, do those things. Just don't work 14, 15, 20 hours. No, a week. Don't do that. Or a day. Don't do that. If you correctly manage your time, you'll make it.
And quite often I find it's when you take those breaks that's when the great ideas come, or
Yes,
the
absolutely.
solution to a problem you're churning over in your
Yeah.
mind. It's when you
Yes,
completely forget
absolutely.
about it
Yeah,
and suddenly it'll drop in.
correct.
In terms of career growth and long-term success, what are your tips for building a strong legal reputation?
Deliver consistent and high quality work is very important. Network meaningfully, share your knowledge through writing or speaking engagements, and just being out there and people know about you and speak about things, is to help those around you.
Absolutely. Is partnership the only definition of success?
Nope. Many solicitors find rewarding careers, in-house legal teams. You could work for in-house. You could do legal consultancy. You can go into academics or compliance, governments or non-profit. So there are loads of other areas you can go into.
Should you start your own firm?
Yes, it offers autonomy, but also requires strong business skills, risk management, marketing, and client development. And sometimes it is hard, but you can, if you have you're not shy and you're able to bring up somebody and say, look, challenge them or ask them questions, do that. But it's very self-satisfying.
Yes. In terms of professional ethics and integrity, what's your advice for handling ethical dilemmas?
You need to know the code of conduct of the Solicitor Regulation Authority, the SRA. You need to reflect on consequences, prioritize honesty and integrity, seek advice from supervisors or the SRA. So you can always ring the SRA or even the Law Society. There are ethics departments and they're confidential and anonymous. So you can ring them, and they have specialist teams in their departments to help you, and they're very useful.
And what's your advice for managing conflicts of interest?
Disclose transparently. Remove yourself from decisions if necessary. Prioritize impartiality and client protection. So always remember that when you get a client in, check if that client, you've done something for the other party or something before. Always check. The initial checks on client risk is what we all do at firms, and that's the first thing we would check on. Or maybe you would have been in a different firm and you would have had something to do with that client or somebody else, and you find yourself in a conflict situation. That can happen too.
So confidentiality is extremely important. What are your tips around maintaining that?
Always identify and verify identities before sharing information. And use secure systems. Only share information on a need-to-know basis, and just be very careful that, some people would send out an email not realizing what they've done, and then you can't pull it back. Those are very dangerous. So always check. So I always advise that when you're drafting an email, don't put the two details to the person you're sending it to or to anyone. Don't put that on the line. Take that off. Draft your email, look at it very carefully, and only when you know and you're ready to send it out, put that detail to the person you're sending it to. And in that way, you're sure you're not sending it to, and always doubly check, because I know that when you put details in, you click and it automatically comes up as an address, and you could have different names having almost the same things in it. Could be John Smith or Brown or whatever it may be. And you might just click on it thinking, oh yeah, that's the client, and it would be going to somebody else.
Yeah.
So always check. And I always insist in my firm that we write the details out again. And those just automatically kick it and cross-check.
Yeah. And there's so much these days about scams with emails generally, isn't there? That you have to be so careful.
Cybercrime is very
Cybercrime and everything, yeah. What are your final tips for aspiring solicitors?
My view is that, like what I had done, is stay persistent. You will get rejections through your journey to become a solicitor or a barrister. Loads of rejections. Apply widely. Learn from each one when you're applying for it. Do not, feel dejected. You could be putting out 300 letters or emails. You may not even get a response, or maybe get one. Doesn't matter. Just go on trying. Consider alternative routes like paralegal work, just to get your foot into the door. Network and learn continuously. Each experience builds your path forward. Be resilient, curious, and committed. The legal field is very demanding, but rewarding for those who persevere. But, there are ups and downs, but every single day in your life, you're learning. And, just have to be open, upfront, accept mistakes. If you fall, get up and just get on with it.
Yeah. Sushila, thank you so much for this conversation. That really is insightful and I think inspiring for people who are looking for becoming a solicitor as their chosen career choice. Lots of tips there, right from the start of the career to getting your foot on the ladder and working your way up. Thank you so much for your advice today.